All right. I almost didn't shoot this video, but I felt I had to because there's a good lesson that I want to share with you. And well, it has to do with what not to do when coming up with a title, coming up with a video idea, because that's really the main driver of a video and its success is coming up with the title. Like that's number one. The second thing I would say would be your thumbnail. And from there, it's the video itself. Okay. And what I decided to do was create a video, and you might have watched it on this channel. And it was all about why people over 40 must start a YouTube channel. All right. And I created that video, came up with the title, and I actually said, you know what? I'm going to do exactly what I did here in the beginning. I'm going to turn the camera on. I'm going to walk around and I'm going to sit down, and that's going to be my thing. And I'll just come in as really casual. Same thing here. I'm in the chair, right? No script. I've got no teleprompter, none of that stuff. And I did that video and it took off. Okay. It actually blew up our channel in a good way. All right. And just to let you know, I've been YouTubing now for over 14 years. I have a channel right now that's, we're about to hit 100,000 subscribers. And I've had other ones that have grown to 16,000 subscribers and built a six-figure business off the back end of that. Like, so I'm not a rookie at this. And I understand it takes time, and it does take some practice on figuring out your titles and things, right? But it can get frustrating out there because people, what they're going to do is they're going to get frustrated and they're going to see something that works and then they're just going to blatantly copy it. Well, this happened, okay? And it happened off of that video. And I wasn't going to do this, but I feel like I really need to. And I just think it's not good practice, all right? And so let me just kind of tell you the story. I created that video from scratch. I didn't like say, oh, I'm going to copy someone other YouTuber's video. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to shoot this video. And I did right off the cuff. And then this guy, Rob, who I don't know, well, he must have saw that the video was doing well. So he's like, I'm going to do the exact same video. Now, I don't have a problem with you taking the title even, which I really think that you should probably just change the title a little bit, make it your own, play around with the wording. But he basically straight up just copied it. Okay, that's fine. And if you are going to ever do that, do me a favor. Don't watch the video. Don't watch the video that you're going to be copying, because then it's going to seem like you basically just copied you just regurgitated everything that that person said or that they shared, which kind of seems like what he did. And I don't normally like call someone out, but I think there's a lesson baked in here. And I do think that he's probably frustrated. I mean, he's been building his channel for over 3 years and he was sitting at like 4,000 subscribers. I think he said somewhere, maybe even in that video, that, you know, it took him over a year or year and a half to get 1,000 subscribers. This channel right here is less than 8 weeks old and we're already at 2,000 subscribers. So I do know what I'm doing and I know that it takes time, but what I'm saying there is, when someone gets desperate or someone gets frustrated because they're not growing, they're going to start to do things that not necessarily I would look at would be in good character. Here's the thing. You got to realize that collaboration in a niche, so if you're in a niche, you want to collaborate with other people. Like I'm in the e-commerce space as well. I have another YouTube channel. You can look it up. It's Brand Creators, and we focus on e-commerce, and we mainly focus on right now Etsy. And I collaborate with other Etsy people, all right? Because why not? There's a company called Kittle, and they're a design company, and they've had me on their podcast, and I've had them on mine and on the YouTube channel. So it's like one hand washes the other kind of thing. So you got to look at that when you are blatantly ripping someone off. Okay. Now, again, I'm not upset that the title was copied. That's fine. But just try to be original. That's kind of, I think, what got me was it wasn't original. And then it was like, this channel had nothing to do with necessarily like starting on YouTube. It was more about Camtasia and editing and things like that. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, if you post something about people over 40, it's going to blow up. So let's do that. And now all of a sudden the channel starts switching to where it's all about people over 40 when if you look at the back catalog, it's all about Camtasia and editing. And again, I'm not one to usually call someone out, but I did leave a comment on his video. I just felt I had to. And I had said something along the lines of like, hey, Rob, maybe you should also share that people shouldn't, copy someone else's title. And if they do, they should try to make the video unique or something like that. My way of kind of saying like, hey, Rob, what are you doing, man? Like, let's, why don't you just kind of switch gears a little bit and like, or maybe admit to what you had done. And I probably shouldn't have did that now that I'm thinking about it, but I felt like I wanted to because I wanted them to know like, it's not good practice. Like we could have worked together. Like we could have collaborated together. But then that's how you kind of, I don't know, you don't make friends on the internet that way. And I'm not saying I dislike him. I dislike his approach. And the reason why I'm saying this is because if you are starting out, you don't want to have to do that. You very easily could just rearrange the title. So he could have came up with something else like, if I was to start over at 40, or if I was to start a YouTube channel over at 40, I'd do this, which by the way, I've got a video that's going to be coming out on Monday, and that's going to be the title. Because I took that from other industries. Other people have already done that, but just in different industries. Like if I was to start on Etsy in 2023 or 2024, whatever the year is, I'd do this. Or if I was to start weight training at 40, I'd do this, right? Just play around with like the structure can be the same, but you don't want to blatantly just copy. And even in the capital letters, like the capital letters are identical. Like it was like copy, paste, right? So that's one thing. Don't do that. Okay. Just don't. You can play around. Like I said, you can play around with this stuff. And I have a guide that I created. There's 10 these titles that I use kind of interchangeably. I actually put it in a guide. If you want that, just put hooks in the comments and I'll send you a copy. So just put hooks in the comments and I'll send you a copy of those 10. It's like a little swipe file. What that basically means is you can take those and you can rearrange them. I give you different examples on how to use them in different markets, just like I did. Like this title, if it's about over 40, and let's say that someone did, if I was to start a YouTube channel in 2024, this is what I do. Well, you might want to change that up. For me, I'm changing it up by, if I was to start a YouTube channel over 40, this is what I do. So see how I just tweaked it a little bit? And then if I saw someone else create that, I'm not going to watch the video. And the reason why I'm not going to watch the video is because I want to give it from my 100% true, authentic view. Like I don't want to say, oh, they used 3 bullet points, so that's what I'm going to use. And literally, if you watch the video from the beginning to probably the first 10 minutes, it's like identical to like, you don't need fancy equipment. It's your expertise. You have wisdom. You've got experience. It's like regurgitating what you just heard. So it's like you find a video that's doing really good. You copy the title. You put that thing through a teleprompter even and just basically read it back. And that's kind of what you're doing. Yes, it's you reading it, but it's not your original content because you didn't think of it. Okay. So if I was to copy someone's title word for word, which I'm not, okay, but if I did, I would not watch that person's video. If someone had a video that was like 5 tips to grow your YouTube channel, I would not watch that video. I would come up with my own 5 tips. Now, are some of my tips maybe going to be some of theirs? They could be, but I didn't watch their video. So the point is this, okay, and this is why I wanted to do this, is I want a lesson like this that I basically am bringing to you. I want you to think about that when you're coming up with titles, okay? And like I said, I've got that guide that'll get you started. Hooks, just put that in the comments. But even if you don't grab that, look at other people's titles. Look at other people's titles in other niches and see what's working. Or see, I'm okay even if this. Like, let's say you saw something for people over 40, like I did, right? And I said, okay, now I got to do more stuff for over 40. Okay, that's going to be a bucket. And so that one bucket is going to now talk about people that are over 40 and things that they might struggle with in creating content. Like maybe that's it. But I'm not going to go find another creator that's doing content on people over 40 and seeing what's working, and I'm going to just basically copy their stuff. That's what I'm saying. So I think it just comes down to, in a small world that we live in, because it's not that, it's big, but it's not that big, right? And what I mean is you have small little communities. And in this case, let's call it the YouTube community. There's a lot of YouTubers out there. There's a lot of content creators out there. So we don't want to burn a bridge, right? We want to be able to collaborate, because you never know that person on the other end, they might collaborate with you. And if they collaborate with you, they might blow up your channel. So if you're going to look at other titles, which I think you should, to get inspiration, use them as inspiration. If there's one that's in a completely opposite niche of you, like let's say fitness, like if you're over 40, you must do strength training, right? So you could take that. If you're over 40, you must retire with, I don't know, $1 million in the bank, right? Or whatever it is. Okay, so you can play around with those, but you should not copy those, especially in your own niche. All right, so I hope that you got value from this. Once again, I am literally doing this with no script to prove my point from the video that I did before, that you don't need to have all this fancy equipment. You don't have to have hours upon hours of time. This is a one-shot deal. I'm not starting and stopping, starting and stopping, starting and stopping. There's a couple times I probably should have, but I'm not. All right, so this thing is rolling. This thing is rolling. And yeah, my tripod is sitting there and I'm in a chair. There's no lighting other than the room lighting in here. So yeah, so if you do want to watch that video about why you should start a YouTube channel and you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and watch it right here. I'll pop it up right over here so you can just click on it and you can go watch it. And yeah, I'll see you over there.